Welcome back, students. In the previous part of our lesson on nationalism in India, we understood how different sections of Indian society had their own expectations and ideas about the freedom struggle. Now, in this part of the chapter, we move on to see how the non-cooperation movement actually spread across the country, especially in the towns. This section is very important because it shows us how people in cities and towns participated in the freedom struggle under the leadership of Mahatma Gandhi. The movement was no longer just an idea, it became a mass action. Schools, colleges, government offices, courts, and even foreign goods were directly affected. Through this lesson, we will explore how the boycott of foreign goods, schools, and institutions took place, why many middle class people initially supported the movement, and also why after some time the enthusiasm in towns began to slow down. So this part of the chapter gives us a clear picture of how nationalism reached the common people in urban areas and how ordinary Indians made sacrifices to resist British rule. Though the non-cooperation movement was later called off in 1922 after the Chauri Chaura incident, it sowed the seeds of mass nationalism in India. So we have seen that non-cooperation as well as Khilafat movement started in January 1921. In this, many people have participated. For each group of people had their own idea of Swaraj. So here each group used to think or used to decide that their idea of Swaraj is different. Let me see the movement how it was happened in the town area. So beginning of non-cooperation movement, Gandhiji's call for non-cooperation with the British spread quickly in towns and cities. However, the people started their protests. As we saw in the non-cooperation movement, here also students left government schools and colleges, teachers resigned from government institution, lawyers gave up their practice in British court. For example, big leaders like C.R. Das, Motilal Nehru, they were supported this. People started to boycott foreign goods, especially cloth. So what they have done here is that they started to collect the foreign cloth and they have burnt in the huge bonfires. Because of picketed or because of the stoppage of foreign goods in our India, the import of foreign cloth fell from 102 crore to 57 crore in the year of 1922. Shops that was selling foreign cloths were picketed. So because of this, once a year the people started to stopping the use of foreign cloth. So what did they use? They started to use the khadi hand spun cloth. It was increased. The production of Indian cloth rose. People especially started to use only the Indian handmade khadi cloth to resist or to stop the usage of foreign cloths. Okay, so because of this, handlooms in our India started to produce more and it started to rose up or went up. But at the same time, khadi was so expensive. Because of this, many poor people could not afford it. So as the movement was going on like this, the people faced some problems in towns. What was their problem? Okay, the students found it hard to continue without proper schools, as all those schools were under the control of British. As the students wind up from the British schools, that time Indian institutions were not at all set up. Definitely it takes time to set up the institution by Indian government. So here the people or the students faced the difficulties without getting the proper education. At the same time, lawyers struggled financially. Traders faced difficulties as Indian industries could not supply goods at the scale needed. Gradually, the enthusiasm that developed in the town area by the middle class people started to reduce off. It started to weaken in the town area. At one point of time, again the students and the teachers started to go back to the government schools and lawyers. So in where they have worked previously, which means that in not Indian schools, in British schools. The movement started from the town side, it reached to the countryside also. The movement spread to rural areas but in a different form because peasants had their own issues. In Awadh, Uttar Pradesh, the peasants were led by Baba Ramachandra, a sannyasi who worked earlier in Fiji as a bonded labor. Bonded labor means you knew already that. So there was an agreement between the landlord and the peasant. So within that agreement, for example, how many years it was specified in an agreement, till that years the peasant need to work for them. If he get low salary also, he need to work for them. This is nothing but the indentured labor that was given in your book. Indentured is nothing but bonded labor. So what was this? Here the movement is against whom? Here the movement is against the talukadars and landlords. What were the problems faced by the peasants over here? The peasants face the problems such as that they need to pay high rent and they want to work as a forced labor or beggar. Beggar is nothing but the farmer need to work for the landlord or talukadas without getting any payment. And the last problem is for the peasants is nothing but illegal dues demanded by landlord, nothing but talukadar. Okay, so here what were the demands of the peasants here? These were the problems they were facing. What were their requirements from the peasant side is nothing but the revenue should be reduced off. The next one is that abolition of beggar. The last one is that social boycott of oppressive landlords. So when this problem was going on in the June 1920, Jawaharlal Nehru was also visiting the village in Awadh. He was speaking to the villagers to address their grievances, to know about their problems. So by understanding the problems of the peasants in Awadh, Jawaharlal Nehru and Baba Ramachandra, even the other members have set up the formation or have set up the Audh Kishan Sabha. Okay, so within the month, this Audh Kishan Sabha branches, nearly 300 plus branches are opened in the village. As the movement spread widely in the year of 1921, what the peasants have done here is nothing but they started to attack the house of talukadas and merchants, whom the land records which was maintained over in their houses were taken out and it was burnt. Okay, then they started to enter into their bazaars and they have taken out the grain hoards. Grain hoards is nothing but the grains were looted. Looted is nothing but stealed. Okay, stolen. Okay, so this was happened. So here, however, Gandhiji was not in favor of such violent methods at all. He wanted peaceful and non-cooperation movement. So here, landlords misunderstood the words of the Gandhiji and they conveyed the same misunderstood words to the peasants. What was that misunderstanding? Here, landlords said to the peasants that Gandhiji declared no need to pay the tax. Your taxes and all, you no need to pay it, and for the poor people land will be distributed. This was not the statement said by the Gandhiji. So here the landlords as well as the peasants misunderstood the words of the Gandhiji and they thought in a different way. In tribal area, the main problem was the forest law imposed by the British. These law restricted tribals from entering forest, collecting fuel wood, fruits or grazing their cattle. And even doing shifting cultivation is also not possible, is not allowed by the tribal people. Okay, since forests were the main source of livelihood, these restrictions created hardship and anger among tribals. So here there was a person to safeguard them or to control them or to guide them, who was called Alluri Sitaram Raju. Among the tribal communities of Andhra Pradesh, a charismatic leader named Alluri Sitaram Raju became very popular. Why he was popular? The tribals respected him because he was believed to have magical powers. They thought he could survive bullet wounds and heal people. Raju was inspired by Gandhiji's movement, but he did not believe in non-violence. So he urged people to give up drinking alcohol, wear khadi and participate in the freedom struggle. At the same time, he told tribals to take up arms and fight the British to drive them out. Okay. So here, as he was a follower of Gandhiji, he was saying very clearly that we will not get independence unless if we use the force. Through non-violence way, it was not possible, or it will not be possible to get the independence. This was the statement said by the Alluri Sitaram Raju. The movement led by Raju is remembered as a Rampa Rebellion. Okay, Rampa Rebellion. It was not in your book, but just you want to know. Okay, the British finally captured him in the year of 1924 and executed him, but he became a folk hero among the tribals. The last subtopic of this is Swaraj in the plantation. So here workers actually, here also they misunderstood the words of Mahatma Gandhiji, and their way of freedom is completely different. Okay. So first let me see what was the situation of plantation workers in Assam. So here they were bound by law under the Inland Immigration Act of 1859. They could not leave plantation without the permission from the British. So here they were working under in very harsh condition and living condition also. How did they misunderstood the Swaraj? I told you they misunderstood the word Swaraj. So for workers, Swaraj meant freedom to move freely and settle in their own villages. This was their freedom. Okay, for this only they involved in the freedom movement. But they believed Gandhiji would give. They believed that, or they hoped that, they thought that Gandhiji is going to give them land in their villages. But this statement also was not said by Gandhiji. This is what they misunderstood the words of Gandhiji. Okay, so here result of this, what they have done here is that thousands of workers defied is nothing but not obeying to the authorities. They left plantation and they started move towards their home. Many were caught, beaten up, and some were even killed. Okay, here they have misunderstood the Gandhiji words in different way. Though they have misunderstood also, here their way of Swaraj or their independence is different. Their independence is nothing but what? They want to leave the plantation. They want to leave the plantation farm, and whenever they need to go to home, they need to go. They should not be work under the forced labor. This is what their independence. Okay, so here the tribals chanted the Gandhiji's name and they have raised a slogan which was called Swadandhara Bharat. At last, here the people have done a peaceful demonstration in a bazaar that turned into a violent clash, okay, with the police of the British government. So here by hearing in this many people have died off. So by hearing this incident, Mahatma Gandhiji quit of the non-cooperation movement. This incident is called as Chauri Chaura incident, which I have said in the beginning of this audio. Okay.